The Washington Commanders want to add a wide receiver at the trade deadline. Who are the best options and who's the best fit? Let's talk about it next on Washington Football Maniacs. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again. And before we start tonight's episode, if you're not a member of the Washington Football Maniacs, definitely consider becoming a member. We have a lot of good content coming your way. We're going live at each and every regular season game, and we're going to be your go-to source for all news Washington Commanders. So the Washington Commanders, a report came out that the Washington Commanders want to add a wide receiver at the trade deadline. What are their options and who's the best fit? We're going to talk about it. All right, so there were three main options I looked at, but two out of the three, to me, are the best fit in DC. But out of the two, one is the most affordable way to acquire him. So I definitely want to look at that and more. So let's get into it. All right, so to me, the best two options for wide receiver at the deadline, if the Washington Commanders want to add a wide receiver at the trade deadline, will be Devonte Adams of the Las Vegas Raiders and Diontae Johnson of the Carolina Panthers. So obviously it will be a trade, right? It's a trade deadline. So which player would command the most? Which one makes more sense? And really, who am I going with? So looking at what kind of package you're looking at. You know, looking at Devonte Adams and looking at Diontae Johnson, their contracts and their situations kind of give you two different outlooks of which way we could definitely go as far as acquiring a wide receiver, right? Now, looking at Devonte Adams, contract age. Now, if you look at his contract this year in 2024 regular season, he is slated to make a base salary of $16.8 million at age 32. Now, if you look at he was traded to Las Vegas from Green Bay for a 2022 first round pick, which ended up being Quay Walker, and a 2022 second round pick. So looking at that, the trade package isn't bad. You know, you're not breaking the bank per se, but look at the Washington Commanders. They're a team that we're not rebuilding. You could call it retooling, right? Because especially after that big win on Monday night, the team has talent. This team is definitely headed in the right direction, but we're not quite there, right? But could they, with a team that's retooling, with a team that's building through the draft, could you afford to give up a first round and a second rounder? That's a big question, man, because Adam Peters has shown that he is definitely playing chess, not checkers. He is definitely cooking, man. But here's the thing. He's building, he's made it known that he wants to build through the draft and supplement through free agency. So, you know, giving up a first rounder or a second rounder, and that's what Green Bay got in return from Las Vegas. Now, would the asking price be the same? And I'm saying yes. All right, you know, 32 years old, he's definitely getting older. Now, if you look at the realm of the NFL, he's not a running back. So, you know, running back at 32 is just you can argue that the value goes down a lot. But a wide receiver, not necessarily the case. You know, 32, is he the same player that he once was? Well, I personally saw him play in Baltimore when the Las Vegas Raiders played the Baltimore Ravens. And that day, he looked like the same Devontae. You know, he could definitely, with a good quarterback, he could still produce. Now, again, looking at his contract situation, he would have 2 more years under contract. Next year, he'll be making, oh, Lord, $35.6 million. And he makes that also in 2026. And that will be his age 33 and 34 seasons. So will he start to decline? Yes, absolutely. You know, once you hit 32, you're going to start decline. But he can still be a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. But the question is, do the Washington Commanders want to spend the draft capital to acquire services? And do you necessarily want to be on the hook for $35.6 million 2 years in a row, which are going to be his age 33 to 34 seasons? And I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think that's the best way to go. Because the best way to go at the deadline is Diontae Johnson of the Carolina Panthers. So let's take a look at him. His contract, he signed a 2-year, $36.7 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me see if we can break down his contract. Now, he is 28 years old, so he has now entered his prime. But let's get into the contract situation with Diontae. Now, this will be the last year. Let me see. He signed the deal. All right. So this will be the second year of his 2-year extension that he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2022, he made $1.5 million as a base salary. In 2023, he made $8 million in base salary and $5.8 in prorated bonus. And this year, he is making $7 million with a prorated bonus of $5.8 million and a roster bonus of $3 million. So if you look at the cap situation, he's not breaking the bank for this team. He's definitely a guy, if you look at him as a player, because the biggest thing for me, especially this offseason, I wanted to see Adam Peters add a wide receiver with some size, opposite Terry McLaurin. Now, Terry McLaurin is the number one receiver that needs some help, man. He needs a guy on the other side to take the pressure off of him. So let me pull up. I just had it, and for some reason that ain't popping up. Devonte Johnson. So we're gonna look at his size and some of his stats real quick. So 5'10", he doesn't fit the mold of having that bigger receiver opposite of Terry McLaurin. But what other things do I look at as far as his play style, what he can contribute? He's a baller, man. He's got some speed, and he's a baller. If you look at his stats, he came in the league in 2019, played 16 games, started 12, 59 receptions for 680 yards. He's gotten better every year in Pitt. Let's see. From the years of 2019 to 2021, he got better every year. Now, it kind of went down from there. His next 2 years in Pittsburgh, and then this year so far with Carolina. Mixed bag. Obviously, there's the issues with Bryce Young, and now Andy Dalton is now the quarterback in Charlotte. So we'll see if he, with Andy Dalton, I definitely think he's going to get a lot more looks. He's definitely going to get a lot more touches, and you're definitely going to see a lot more production out of Devonte Johnson. Because Bryce Young, we'll see. I don't think it's all on him in Charlotte, but he's got to get the ball in there, man. He's got to find his receivers, and I think that a lot of that has to do with his inaccuracy and him, because this is an improved team in Charlotte. It's not last year where it was just a bad team. They put some time and money into the offensive line. They went out there and got Leggett in the draft and Devonte Johnson from Pittsburgh. So a lot of the struggles have been on Bryce Young to a certain degree, but I still don't think it's all on him. All right, so getting back to Devonte Johnson, like I said, he went from 59 receptions to 88 in 2020, and then 107 receptions for 1,161 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2021. Then it starts to go down from there, right? In 2022, 86 receptions for 882. Then 2023, 13 games played, 11 started for 51 receptions and 717 yards for 5 touchdowns. So his production went down. And again, I don't think it's all on him. Obviously, quarterback has been an issue in Pittsburgh. For a while, it's Kenny Pickett. Now you have Justin Fields. You have Russell Wilson. I better say Westbrook. Russell Wilson. But they haven't had a consistent guy at quarterback in Pittsburgh. So I think a lot of that has to do with his up and down production in Pittsburgh, not on him per se, because when he plays, he produces. So yeah, he's 5'10", and for some reason we just can't find receivers over 6 foot in DC, man. But I think that best case scenario for Terry McLaurin, especially if you want to take pressure off of him, you have to find a receiver who's more physical, who's taller, 6'4" plus, in my opinion, to definitely take pressure off of Scary Terry, man. But here's the thing, 5'10", if you don't have that height, at least you have a guy who could play. He's a good route runner. He's an electrifying player. And yes, he doesn't fit the mold of being a bigger receiver, but I think he would definitely take pressure off of Terry McLaurin, because Zacchaeus, man, to me, is not the answer at number 2. Dami Brown, we'll see, but to me, he's not the answer at number 2. Luke McCaffrey is definitely the slot receiver of the future, and for good reason, because he can play. So he's definitely the slot guy, in my opinion. But I don't think we have a number 2 on the roster. Now, you can argue Noah Brown has been playing really good football, but is he necessarily the number 2 guy across from Terry McLaurin long term? I'm going to say no. And so if you look at between Devonte Adams and Devonte Johnson, I think the nod is easily Devonte Johnson. You go out there, you acquire him at the deadline. You're not going to have to break the bank to do so. And you have a receiver who's going into his prime. He's going to be able to contribute at a high level, take a lot of pressure off Scary Terry. And you're going to have a formidable wide receiver situation in DC. Like I said, you used to have Dami Brown, which to me is number 5 guy. Noah Brown, Dami Brown are definitely in the mix, in my opinion. Jamison Crowder, he's a special teams guy. But it's not to say that Noah Brown can't have a place as a roster. He can play. He's definitely adds a lot of talent to the wide receiver room. And same thing with Dami Brown. But neither one of them are true number 2s. And I think that the biggest goal is, look, we know that Terry and JD5 have that connection. Now we have to put some more weapons around him. Because here's the thing. The Cincinnati Bengals win on Monday night was a good win, but it also showed you a couple things. Number one, they had to score every time down the field to win this game. If you go 1 or 2 possessions, 3 and out, Cincinnati probably wins that game. And that's the thing, with the defense being as bad as it is between the lack of production with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen to the struggles with the secondary. For us to really be the team that a lot of people think we are right now, we're gonna have to outscore teams. And with a rookie quarterback, yes, the offensive line is much improved, and I think that Brent, a lot of credit has to go to Brandon Coleman. Definitely, he very well could be the future left tackle. He's done well. His offensive line overall as a unit has played well, and it has given Jayden Daniels the time to not only run with the ball, but to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. Like you said, those 2 long throws, man, to Terry McLaurin, they definitely have that connection now. But here's the thing: we need more weapons. Because for us to keep pace with some of these teams, we're going to have to score. We're going to have to outscore them, and I think that's unrealistic. Now, the running back room has played well. Brian Robinson Jr. has played very well this season, and Austin Eckler, who actually is he is out on Sunday at Arizona, so with a concussion, he is in concussion protocol, so he's not going to be playing this Sunday. It's going to be the B-Rob show, but Austin Eckler has shown that he could be a really good change of pace back, very active in passing downs and special teams, and complements Brian Robinson to a T. I mean, they form a really nice 1-2 punch at running back, man. But a lot of pressure is put on running back to produce because the passing game has been kind of inconsistent. So, Jayden Daniels, great game on Monday night. Scary Terry showed that, there's a lot of doubters out there whether he's a number 1 or not. He put a lot of those doubts to rest. He's a number 1 in this league. But we have to add some more weapons, and Deontay Johnson is that guy. So you guys get in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. Who do you think is more realistic? Devonte Adams, Deontay Johnson, or do you want to go get John Mechie III out from the Houston Texans? That's another option. To me, if you're not in the top 3 wide receivers in your team, why would I think that you would be the answer number 2 in Washington? That's why I'm not really big on John Mechie, even though I know he can definitely play. But would he be the number 2 option in DC? I don't think so. And why go out there and make a move for a guy who's not going to be the answer at number 2 across from Scary Terry? So to me, Deontay Johnson is a choice. I think he could be easily obtainable from the Charlotte or from the Carolina Panthers. And, he's young. He's going to his prime, and he can be productive opposite of Scary Terry. So you guys get in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. And we will see you guys Friday night for the preview for Sunday's game at the Arizona Cardinals. So definitely tune in for that. Me and Greg will be hitting you guys with the preview for the Washington Commanders at the Arizona Cardinals for Sunday. So definitely tune in on Friday. So, all right, everybody. I will see you guys on Friday. Hail to the Commanders, and peace. See you guys next time.